Welcome to another episode of Raising OKC Kids, Conversations with Metro Family in Oklahoma City. I'm Kirsten Holder, and today we're talking with Sarah Aldrich, owner of Rustic Roots in Lamot, Oklahoma. Welcome, Sarah. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you so much, Kristen. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So a little bit of intro. Rustic Roots is a long-established farm just northeast of Enid. It's only an hour to an hour and a half drive from the Oklahoma City area. You all do events year round, but today we're talking about pumpkin patches, which I am so excited that we're finally near to opening those. I just want to bring on the cooler weather and all that that entails. Your sixth annual pumpkin patch and corn maze opens September 18th, and you have a 10-acre corn maze, which is so impressive. A giant slide fort, hay rides, petting zoo, a jump pad, barrel train, all of which sound like a fall wonderland. So what else can we enjoy while visiting the pumpkin patch? And I know it's probably hard for you to pick like a favorite, but what would it be if you had to pick?
It is really, really hard because I wouldn't put anything out here if I didn't really love it. So oh man, I would say the photo opportunities that we have out here. That's probably my favorite overall. We just have a whole bunch of them. We try and do a minimum of 30 every year. And so I think that's probably my favorite. And then the hay fort.
Yes. So tell me more about these photo opportunities. Is it like, you kind of set a scene and people can take pictures there? What does it look like?
So, like last year, we took this like this old yellow velvet couch and we put it out in the pumpkin patch area last year. And so we try and do things like that, but we also do like the wooden cutouts that you see at other different pumpkin patches and stuff, where you get to put your face through, and mom and dad get to take all the photos they can of you. So we try and diversify, whether it's in the corn maze or a wooden arch or anything like that. We just really try and diversify all the different little photo op opportunities that we have out here. So
Awesome. And you said another favorite thing is the corn maze. Is that what you said?
yeah.
And what's special and unique about that?
So the corn maze, we actually have 3 different mazes inside of it. So when we list a 10-acre corn maze, it's not just like one maze. We have multiple, whether it's a smaller route, so you don't want to have to go quite as far, to a longer route that goes all the way around our maze. So that's the
Yeah,
difference.
that's nice. It's nice to have options because I'm sure a lot of our listeners have varied ages of children, and you're trying to decide, do I have enough energy today to carry my little child all the way through a 10-hour or a 10-acre maze? And so you have a shorter option as well. That's great.
Yeah. So we also, this year, we've had the chance to put in a Milo maze. And so we've added another 3-acre maze. And Milo, for anybody that doesn't know, it only gets to be about 3, maybe 4 foot tall. And that's 4 foot's really tall for it. So usually about 3 feet tall. That way, where we have it, it sets up on a hill a little bit. So parents actually don't have to go in with their younger kids. The kids can go in and they can just take off, and you can see them if you stand up on the terrace top. So I think that'll be really good, especially for our field trip groups this year.
Yes, that sounds a little bit more approachable for the littles. And then you've got something a little more challenging for the bigs. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor that you also have a different theme every year for the corn maze. Are you able to tell us what this year's theme is?
Yeah, absolutely. So this year the theme is I am. So um every year I have this opportunity to reach out to, whether it's 100, 1,000, maybe even hundreds of thousands, depending on how many shares you get. And I always like to try and take that and utilize it in the best way I can. So with everything that's happened in the last year and a half, and my daughter, she's 12 this year, my son's 10, so he's right behind her. They're fixing to go through junior high and high school, and that's such a challenge. That's so hard to have to deal with. And so the I am enough, or I am brave, I am strong. These really sung out to me this year when I was thinking. I usually try and take about 2 to 3 months to really narrow in on what I'm wanting to project. And so if I can help in any way, this year I really wanted to help scream to all these people to kind of generate that self-esteem and that self-worth best they can, and how important that is. So
That
that's
is, it's so hard to be a middle schooler, high schooler in general, let alone all the challenges that the past 18 months or so has brought on. And it's really admirable of you to kind of think through some of that, because it sounds like you're not just trying to be a pumpkin patch attraction. It's just one and done, and you don't think about it again. You're trying to create a more meaningful message there.
yeah, I mean, if I have this chance to use 10 acres and to do something inside of it, that's what I really want to do, is because I'm not someone that can just, I have self-esteem, I think, but I'm not one just to go out and visit with people and discuss whatever with them. So this is a way that I can reach out without, standing in front of hundreds of people.
It's very artistic. I like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That'll certainly be something to see, and a great conversation starter at home after families visit too.
Yes.
So a Fall Fest event comes up shortly behind the opening of the pumpkin patch. It starts October 16th. And in addition to all the fun things that are normally included in the pumpkin patch, visitors can also enjoy food trucks, live music, and additional games, I think. And we'd love to know more about that and who we can look forward to and hearing from music wise, or seeing food wise as well.
Awesome. So the music, we actually have Trent Criswell is his name, and he has a band, and he's going to be our last performer that day. And he came out for our Sunflower Festival this summer, and that they just did a wonderful job, and that's so much fun. And then some new people is the Caitlin Killian and band. They're out of Medford, so they're kind of a local. Well, she grew up locally, but now she's a little bit bigger. So I'm super excited to get to see her. And then Cole Tolley, and then the Back Roads is the other one that's getting to come out for the music and stuff. So we're pretty excited about all of them coming out. And as far as food, which that's definitely more my style, I'm so little. The Mean Moe's Barbecue, they'll get to be out here, and the Roadrunner Cantina, the Baked Bear, which sounds so good. I haven't had a chance to have them. I think they're down y'all's direction, down south a little bit.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Cookies and ice cream inside of it. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, they're like gigantic ice cream sandwiches. It's like a dream.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited to get to experience that a little bit. And then we have tons of vendors that day. And so if you're just looking to get out of the house and kind of have not just all the kids stuff, all the parents will get this opportunity to enjoy the music, and moms can shop. And so I think it'll be a really nice day. So
Cool. What kind of games do you guys do for the kids during Fall Fest?
so last year we didn't really have any games set up as far as beyond what we do for the pumpkin patch. And this year we're going to try and do like where they can paint a pumpkin, and then they can set it down, let it dry. And we're looking into how you could do like not a tie dye, but they kind of do those splatter shirts and stuff, maybe do something like that. And so just some little different activities that they can have like that to make it more fun.
Yes, I love hearing about this artistic side of you. I feel like this has been a common answer we've had so far already. I like kind of incorporating some art projects within a pumpkin patch. It's fun and different.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Like I said, I think all these events sound awesome, but I'd really love to know what you think makes Rustic Roots different? And maybe start with when you started opening your farm to events like this. Is there any history there?
So the farm actually originally was my grandpa's, and he was the standard farmer to mechanic to did a little bit of ranching with some cows and stuff like that. And when I got old enough, he actually was already out of the farming, but my dad took over, and then I got the opportunity to take over. I may have a little bit of a green thumb, but I'm not a I'm not a I say a farmer. I am a farmer, but not on large acres or anything like that. So that's the history, is it came from my grandpa, who actually, that's why Rustic Roots, and my logo is actually the tree that is by the barn. And so that's a really fun story in itself. Um and what was your other question?
Oh, just what makes Rustic Roots different? Kind of
Oh,
what, yeah, what is different from Rustic Roots than just your typical run of the mill pumpkin patch?
so I think the difference is the fact that I say so far, it's just the right amount away from the city that it gets you away from the city for a while. And I think the drive up here, and there's several little other activities that you can go touch base with either along the way or after the fact, that you wouldn't necessarily get the opportunity to do so. And so I think that's what gives us a little bit more of the difference up here, is it's so free feeling. It's like, I don't know if people, when they, like, I feel like a lot of times during the week when we're going through school and everything else, it's just like so repetitive,
Mm.
schedule, and you just kind of feel in this box. And when you get to come out to the farm, it's open skies, it's wide open spaces. We are trying to grow some trees. We just don't have very many yet. And it's fun. And most of the people that come out here, their response is it actually feels like a farm, which it is. I mean, we're a functioning farm. We grow pumpkins to pick and sell. We have livestock that we, yes, we have the petting zoo, but we also have other livestock that we have to, use as food and things like this. And so the difference is it's an actual farm. So
Yeah, sure. No, I love your points about it. It sounds like an escape, and it really does. I mean, with all that you offer, but just kind of having that time to unwind and kind of appreciate, not to get too sappy, but nature's beauty that we don't often get to take time to settle down, like you mentioned, especially in the routine of the week and how busy things are and can be. So, yeah, I really appreciate that. You've got me sold. We're gonna have to take a little weekend trip and visit some of the other things and definitely come to see you all too.
oh,
Yeah, so even though we're all looking forward to fall and all the activities that you all have at your farm there, you do have events year round. You mentioned the Sunflower Festival, but can you tell us about some of the other events we can look forward to after Fall Fest and the pumpkin patch closes up?
okay. So this year was our first year for our Sunflower Festival, and we did that in the middle of June. So this next year, we're actually, and then we opened up for a few weeks after that while the sunflowers were in bloom. Because unfortunately, when you're farming, you don't get to choose what day everything is perfect. And
Yes.
so they had our festival. It was really warm. Our sunflowers hadn't opened up yet due to the cold weather we had in late April. And so this next year, we're going to open up. And what we do, it's kind of, I say, similar to the pumpkin patch, except we just have more of the, um, we don't run our barrel train, but we do have like the petting zoo, and we try and set up some other little games and stuff to offset it, and some different face cutouts for photo opportunity. The biggest thing is the sunflower, though. The sunflowers, we put a maze out inside of it, and it's still this last year 10 acres, and so we'll probably do that amount again. and you just walk through the trails and the photo opportunities that you have in that. So that's definitely something that has been a big deal, I think, for everyone. Is the only thing we're going to be able to see later on is our photos. And so, yeah, you can remember it best you can. And so creating as many photo opportunities for people is, that's kind of my goal. And so the sunflowers and stuff like that, that's just, it's very iconic. I think it's one of those that it just screams summer.
Yes. Yes.
So
Like happiness and warmth. Yes.
yeah,
I can
just
see that like glowy sunlight right now as we're talking about it on the sunflowers. And doesn't
yeah,
everybody look their best complexion when they have some glowy little light coming in on them?
right. Yes, they absolutely do. So that's just a different, and we don't charge as much in the summertime either, just because we don't do as many activities and stuff like that. But we do also do the Sunflower Festival. And so we bring in the bands and the food trucks and stuff like that again for one of the days. And I think that's a lot of fun, I think, to be able to just get out and have another place to go to that's just not what you're used to. And I don't know how many people are used to actually driving and going out into the middle of nowhere to listen to some live bands and stuff like that. So I think those places that can be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
So you mentioned earlier, and I saw on your website, you offer field trips, and your field trips boast the promise of one slice of pumpkin pie per student, which how fun is that? Can you tell us how the field trip experience looks when kids come to Rustic Roots?
So actually, that's kind of, a lot of people do think it's a slice of pumpkin pie, and it's actually a pie pumpkin. So
Oh,
it,
I'm glad you clarified that.
yeah. So just one of those smaller, what field trip size pumpkins that kids like to pick up with the long stems and stuff. So every kid gets one of those when they come out here. And I would have to admit, field trips are definitely my favorite over, per se, the weekends and things like that. Just because when you see a group of about 75 kids, just, I mean, they just, and that's the best thing about out here is when I was talking about wide open space, these teachers literally, it's not like when you go to the zoo and you're like, stay in your line or stay right here, or you have a parent for every 2 to 3 kids. These teachers can come out here and just let them go. And so something I really tried last year, well, it was mostly due to COVID, was only one school per day. And so whether your school had 10 kids or 200 kids that were coming out, it was, you knew it was that school, those parents was here. And so this year we're still trying to do that best we can. Unfortunately, just due to the ability to keep a farm functioning, we had to adjust it. And so we kind of had to have a minimum of 75 students to minimize the school, but we can at least minimize as many schools. So there's a lot of schools that can pair up and they can go. And so to create, but we, on a norm, we don't have more than about 100 students any given day for our field trips. But I mean, to watch them just take off and go run, whether it's through the pumpkin patch to pick out their, you got to find the perfect pumpkin. You just have to. And so whether it's that or watch them, like, I mean, as a grown up and you see something that's 20 foot tall, made out of hay bales and all this stuff, you're like, that's pretty big. But as a kid, it is like, oh my gosh, they're like in amazement and this is so much fun. And so their imaginations start going crazy. And that is just, that's probably, that might be my favorite thing, even over the photo opportunities or anything else, is just the field trip days. Cause it's just, to let the kids just take off and run and play, it's just, that's a blessing to me. So not as many get to do that. So
Yes. Well, and what is it about fresh air and open spaces that is just resonates with all of us, and kids especially. They can be themselves, they can spread out, they can run. And I'm sure the parents and teachers thank you after that for wearing out some of their energy.
Right. Yeah. It's fun to hear back from some of the teachers about how many students may have fallen asleep on the bus
Yes,
on
yeah.
or like that. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, they probably haven't been able to roam that freely in a long time. So that is great. And especially with some of those imagination building opportunities, and being able to go with your friend, like you said, and find the perfect pumpkin, and even just see and experience things that you don't normally get to see every day. That's what childhood should be all about in a nutshell, right there.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned this a little bit with the field trips, but I do want to hear about any other COVID procedures for healthy and safe places that you have. Well, most everything at Rustic Roots is outdoors, and it's very clear that you're making safety a priority. I do love this wording on your website: stay 3 goats apart from other people on the farm, and in
Yeah.
instances of closeness, masks are recommended. I know you're also doing additional sanitizing and cleaning sessions. Besides some of these new procedures, how has COVID affected the way that you operate?
So obviously affected the field trips because they have regulations and rules that they have to follow. And so it really affected field trips for last year. This year it does a little bit as well again. But as far as the weekends go and our what I call public time, it hasn't, I mean, thank goodness it hasn't yet so affected us too horribly. Um, we try and set up as many sanitizing stations as we can, and it can be as simple, like we're pretty simple out here, so it's not over the top. I mean, we have just the gallon size pumps that we set everywhere, and we try and have that kind of stuff everywhere we can. Just at, I mean, I'm going to say last year, I think we had 20 different stations. So just to help in that regard. And then we do try and go through and sanitize, whether it's the bounce pad or other things. I mean, as a farmer, you can't really sanitize. I mean, as anyone, you can't really sanitize like wood and stuff like that. So we just ask that people, when you're done playing at that station, go get some hand sanitizer and move on. So
Yeah.
that's a do, and then just be respectful of others and space. And if you are sick, please wait until the following weekend when you're better and come out. And to slow, whether it's due to COVID or flu or cold or anything else, I mean, we just ask to be respectful of others. So
Yes, well said. Yeah, nobody wants to be sick, no matter what it is. But I think we're all on high alert right now with COVID, especially. So, yeah, that is just great. I love how you said all of that, and it is nice that your location. I know my family in particular was looking for outdoor opportunities where we could, have more freedom to spread out from people. It wasn't in a tight space where we felt constricted, and so that is kind of the beauty of your event and your property as well.
yes, it is. It's really nice. So
Yes. Well, the theme has been wide open spaces, running around, fresh air, and beautiful scenery, and a little bit of fun too. So I really appreciate you joining us today, Sarah. Rustic Roots sounds like a little homeland escape, and we cannot wait to visit.
thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yes, and for those of you listening, you can check out the absolutely stunning photos. I know we've talked a lot about photo opportunities, but you just have to see them for yourself on their website, www.rusticrootsevents.com, or you can find them on Facebook at Rustic Roots Events. The photos, like I said, are absolutely to die for. You can find out more information and book your visit there as well. Thank you, and join us next time on Raising OKC Kids.